This is the Game 9 press conference featuring the Oklahoma Sooners. We're joined by student athletes Kinsey Hansen and Giselle Juarez. We'll start with questions for the student athletes. Ryan Aber.
Yeah, this question is for Giselle. Giselle, what was going through your mind there in the third as you go back out there? And how did you feel as the game progressed from there? And how big was it to get out of that without allowing any further damage?
I just wanted to have Nicole Mays back. I went out there, and that's what I told her is, I'm going to have your back. And I think the team was just going to have her back. And I took it one pitch at a time. My team came back and answered. So I think just like knowing that they're answering, so I got to answer for them as well, and just having their back throughout the entire game.
James Hill.
I got a question for both. G, first of all, talk about the problems you had with your glasses fogging up and that kind of thing, because you had to work through that. That could have been a distraction for some. And Kinsey, you guys had a great plan for Garcia. If you could get into that, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Start with G, please.
Yeah, my goggles fog. So I was just trying to take my time in the circle, and if I needed to take a second to wipe them off, taking that second for myself. I had a couple of times where I couldn't see, and they just I looked at the batter, and then it was whew. So just trusting my pitch, even if I really couldn't see, and just taking my time in the circle in order to make sure that I was good.
Kinsey.
Our plan against Garcia today was mostly to trust our training. We went up there, and a lot of the times when we struggle, it's only when everybody's trying to hit home runs every single at bat, and we get out of our game plan. But today we weren't trying to do too much. We were just trying to stick to our game plan, stay on top of the ball, and take good hacks.
Joey Helmer.
Yeah, Kinsey. I just am curious. G. Juarez, what she did was pretty incredible today. You were behind the dish catching her. How much, you catch her in practice and everything. How much could you kind of see this kind of performance coming from her over the last few weeks?
I hit off of her at practice. So I've been on the other side of it. Oh yeah. So I've been hitting her off of her at practice for the past few weeks, and just like I said earlier today, the mental switch has been tremendous for her. And when she came out on that mound, I know that I said that we were avenging losses. She came out on fire. And behind the plate, the battery today, it was just unreal. And it was something that I had yet to experience. And today I loved it. It was fun.
Brian Chapman.
Hey, my question's for Kinsey. First off, what was the message in the dugout after you guys fell behind 3-0, and then being able to battle back, not just today, or against UCLA, but all day long? What kind of belief does that give you guys going into tomorrow that you can win 2 games and punch your ticket to the championship series?
One game at a time. That's our message after Thursday. It's one game at a time for us. Like I said, it's survival of the fittest, and we got to do what we got to do to win. And we fell behind, and it was no quit attitude. We're ready. We're here, and we're putting our head down, and we're doing what it takes to win.
Josh Calloway.
Yeah, Kinsey, I was just going to ask you, obviously somebody who had a monster day is obviously Mackenzie Donahue, 3 home runs. Just it seemed like she was every single time. Just to speak to her day today, just absolutely unbelievable in both games.
Oh, absolutely. She's actually my roommate, so I'm so proud of her and all the work that she's put in, and you don't see a lot of girls that size hitting monster bombs 3 times a day, you know what I mean? So my heart is super proud of her, and I'm just so happy for her, and yeah.
Ronald Smith.
This is Ronald E. Smith. Question for both of you, because during the broadcast, they told us about something that has been your mantra through the season, because you brought about fighting, and they said your coach made you guys watch the Gladiator. What was about that film that has been that mantra for you guys throughout the season?
Start with G, please.
I think just understanding that you got to fight. No, you got to do what it takes. And I think something that we've done a really good job of incorporating is just one moment at a time and sticking together. And I think there's a part in that movie, I believe, where they like get back to back, and it's hard to like break them up and whatnot. And I think just that's what we're doing right now is we're standing back to back, protecting each other. We're all around each other. We have each other's backs and just going after it and trusting that we have each other.
Kenzie?
G hit that absolutely spot on, but one of the aspects that we carry with us from that movie is what the head gladiator fights for. He fights for his family, but for us, we hold up our four because a lot of us, we fight for each other, we fight for God, and we fight to win. That's what we're here for. So it's just a big message. We fight back to back, like G said. It's just, we have gladiator mentalities.
Last one for the student athletes, Austin.
Yeah, Kinsey, I wanted to take it back to the bottom of the third inning there with when Jocelyn got up to hit and with the big 2-out triple. Obviously, she came around third base, had a pretty big celebration there from the crowd and the dugout. Just following up after that, how big can one hit like that sort of flip the momentum for an offense, and how did that kind of come into fruition tonight?
Absolutely. Jossie hit that ball, and it was no surprise to me. Whenever she comes up to the plate, I'm standing on deck, and I'm like, oh, here we go. We're going to score some runs. So, it totally flipped. It gave us momentum. It completely changed the script of the game, and from that point on, it was our game to win.
Kenzie, G, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Joined now by Oklahoma Sooners head coach Patty Gasso. Coach, we'll start Joey Helmer.
Yeah, Patty, just the job that G was able to do in both games today. Obviously, she comes in a tough spot in the second game, and it just really kind of settles in and dominates. Just what were your thoughts of how she stepped up for you guys today?
She's been waiting. She's been throwing really well, feeling really good. She's been waiting for this moment, a little bit of redemption. I know her season in 2019 ended with a couple tough outings against UCLA. So this was, I think, something a little personal to her as well.
Brian Aber.
Yeah, Patty, sticking with Giselle, wanted to ask you about that third inning, and to be able to get out of that inning without any further damage when she came on. How big of a lift was that in creating the start of the momentum that helped y'all start swinging this game your way?
Yeah, you could feel UCLA. They're a great hitting team all the way through, and you could feel that they were scoring up the ball really well early in the game. So we needed some kind of relief, some kind of momentum just in the way of a stop. And I don't know, it just brought a little bit of hope, like we're still in the game. We certainly couldn't give up much more than 3 early in the game, but we know that, we can catch up when we're within that kind of range with somebody. So Giselle coming in and getting us back into the dugout really, really changed the whole dynamic, momentum, the approach that the team had going forward.
Chandler.
Hey, Patty, obviously all season long you have told your team to have a gladiator-like approach, and even on the pregame radio today, you said the exact same thing. Would you say your team fought like gladiators today?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You could see their passion. You could see their focus. We waited around for quite a while. We were in that locker room for, I don't know, it felt like about 2.5 hours or so. And I'm thinking, what do I need to do to keep them loose or keep them focused or what have you? They really enjoyed themselves more than any team I can ever remember. And it's a very tight-knit group. They're all different, but they really enjoy each other. So I felt really good going into this game that they were locked in and ready, and they definitely put on a battle face. They don't want to go home. They don't want to end their season. So the attitude is like, we didn't get this far just to get this far. And they really, I don't know, it was such a great team effort tonight. I think it'll build, that momentum will create itself again tomorrow. That's what I hope for.
Josh Callaway?
Yeah, Patty, I wanted to ask you about Taylon. Obviously, it looked like she hurt her fingers there diving into the base, but then stayed in and came right back in and then ended up scoring. Just, I guess, talk about what exactly the injury was there and how she's doing, and then just her toughness to hang in the game and finish it out.
Yeah, very much like a Gladiator style, I guess. She did dislocate her finger, and we brought her into the dugout, and the doctor came down in and just I don't know what you would call it, readjusted it, taped it up, and she wanted back in, and we need her. She's very good at first base. So she was not going to let me pull her out. I'm sure she's going to be sore, and we've got some time to figure out how to help her stay in the game tomorrow. But I think that was part of it, too, the momentum of saying, no matter what happens to me, I'm going to keep working for my team.
Last one for Coach Ryan.
Hey, Coach, you talked a lot earlier this season coming off the doubleheaders with Georgia and Baylor about everything you learned about what you need to do to prepare this team. You have another doubleheader ahead of you tomorrow if you want to get back to the championship series. How are you feeling with how you've managed the team so far and how fresh you feel going into tomorrow?
You know, we've worked really hard all season. We knew what our legs and our bodies would feel like. We used to talk about it all the time. So I think that when you get to this point, like your legs are heavy, but just adrenaline takes you through this. You can't have any excuses when you go into, you know, if you're in the Final Four, we're in the Final Four. We've got to beat a very good team twice. So we've got to put everything we have out on the field tomorrow. They'll be ready for it. I think they know what's at stake. They know it will allow them to almost start the tournament all over. If we can get through these two games, it's like a new beginning where it's like 0-0. You start all over with whoever it is that you're playing. But the matchups that we have tomorrow are going to be a big challenge, and this team, they're going to sleep some, but they're going to be really excited to get back on the field. They had a blast tonight. You could see it throughout. They had a great time. It was fun to watch them, fun to coach them tonight.
Thank you,
Coach
Coach.
Casso, thank you so much for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.